expecting an 18-year-old that really doesn't know anything to pick a college, especially with how business-like college football specifically has become, in a lot of other sports as well, to make a decision and a commitment to 4 years to a school is tough. And a lot of kids make the wrong choice. I would say probably most make the wrong choice. So having the option to one-time transfer, okay. I have a problem. First of all, thinking that the posts are necessary. The posts are so infuriating to me. I cannot even tell you. I'm going to counter John here. College football coaches are not looking on Twitter to find players. They're not. They're not. There's an actual portal where you put your film where the coaches recruit you.
But I'm talking about as like a beacon, like, oh, this guy's going to be in it. Because again, it's not even open yet, correct?
These coaches already know. They know 1,000 years before it hits Twitter. They know. It's their job to know. All they do is live, sleep, breathe, eat football. Like, this is it. They spend 15 hours a day in these places, and they're not just drawing up plays the whole time. They're looking for players mostly. They have scouting reports on definitely every kid on every team that they play that year, and probably a running list of like 50 schools that are, especially now, in the same kind of bracket as them. They've got where they grew up, where they were recruited, how many offers did they have they done anything at the school. They're not looking to Twitter. Twitter is 100% attention grab, look at me, I'm leaving. That's why I have the problem with it. And they're all so dumb. Whoever started writing them, I cannot believe they use that as a template. They're so dumb. After much prayer and deliberation with my family, you did not talk to God or your family once. You just decided that it's time for you to leave for no reason. And so that's my problem. But when you get a little deeper into the transfer portal, it just is, I didn't have that. It was right after I got there, similar to you, Dustin. So you didn't have the same kind of options. But John definitely would have had it because he's like
the transfer portal. The one-time transfer began during COVID, in high school, right?
Yeah.
No, it'd be what?
John wants to be so cool like us, Mitchell, that he.
That's the theme of my episode. Is John is a baby.
John wants to be so
I'm a grown man.
Yeah, John wants to be so cool and fit in with me and Mitchell that we weren't transfer portal era.
He was in the era. He was NIL.
No, I left school basically the moment this became a thing, or right before it became a thing.
No, you were younger.
That's okay.
But it's more of an overarching like question about the world. Like, when did it become? And I fall victim to it too. I just ask people to interact with me on Twitter, so I'm kind of doing the same thing. When did it become like all about me? I spent a lot of dark hours in the weight room, in the indoor facility with Danny Dunn. Shout out Danny Dunn. Love that guy. You guys probably never heard of him. He never played it down at Indiana. He was a walk-on wide receiver from Carmel. That kid was the hardest working guy I've ever met. Definitely could have played Division II, Division III ball, just maybe wasn't quick enough. But we spent hours and hours in the darkness before you get your chance. And a lot of kids just miss that. As soon as the going gets tough, there's no tough gets going, if that makes sense. That used to be a little dumb cliche.
Well, let me ask you this, Mitchell, or I'll go and ask mine, and then Dustin, you can go. Was there ever a point where, like, and I guess it's hard to put yourself in this position because you never had this option physically, but was there ever a point, whether it be at the beginning of your career or after you started, once you got your scholarship and things were going better for you, even though you weren't playing for an elite team or program, was there ever a moment where you thought, wow, I want to go somewhere else and do this, or I could go play for someone else better, but I don't I don't want to have to sit out a year kind of thing, because that was what you had to do back then.
For football, no. But there was a time after my third season, I had gotten passed up by a guy that I thought I was way better than, and dropped down to the bottom of the depth chart kind of out of nowhere. Spent the whole third season going to every game, traveling to every game. Not everybody does that. You're technically like part of the group of guys that may play if you go to away games. I went to every game and never saw the field. And after my third year, I was done. I was transferring. I was ready to go. I had packed up my locker, but I was going to go play golf. So that was going to be a little different option. And that was more along the lines of what Dustin was talking about. I had done this for 3 years. I had my opportunities, and I felt like I had made the most of them in practice. Had good springs, had good falls, and it just wasn't happening. And it felt like it was just never really going to happen. So I was out of there. I was going to Arizona State, and then had a couple things go on. Namely, the funniest one is while I was trying to decide what I wanted to do, I was going to have to walk on and try out. I wasn't like a Division I level golfer, but I had some game. So I was thinking, let me just check out, what the top 5 guys are doing. And Arizona State is historically a pretty good program. Not sure how familiar you guys are with golf and who's like number 1, 2, 3 in the world right now. But when you looked at their scores all year, they had a guy by the name of John Rahm on the team. And he won like a million tournaments. And then 2 years or 3 years after we graduated, he's the same year as me. He was just number 1 in the world. So it felt like maybe him and I were on a little bit different levels. I thought, you know what? Maybe we should stick with football a little longer, because if I go to Arizona State, I'm just going to be really hot and watching John. There were some other things that happened that are for another day. But yeah, man, I felt that. It's not easy. And that's why I think the transfer portal can be okay. It's hard to make the right decision when you're 18. Was going to Indiana the right decision for me? Eventually, yes. But when you look back, no. I had no business playing there.